It's your boy, Henny the Moore, reporting live from the liquor store, man. How's everybody doing? And as y'all can see, man, we do have an intruder inside of the liquor store, man. We have little Eagles fan inside of the liquor store, man. My boy Mitch, it's been a long time, but this is not our first show together. How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. Today was just a bunch of highs and a bunch of lows of Jim Harbaugh going to the Chargers. Other than that, let's just get it, man. Let's
I
get
know
it.
that's right, man. But hey, salute to everybody out there in the nation coming in and showing love to the liquor store. Listen, everybody's in shambles right now, man. The NFC East, man, it's down here right now. Dallas Cowboys got upset. The Philadelphia Eagles had a very, very rough patch the end of the season. The New York Giants are still the New York Giants, and the same thing for the Washington Commanders. So there is a whole lot of inconsistencies and debacles going around the NFC East right now. So we'll talk about it. We'll give both our insights about some of the happenings around our teams. We'll have ourselves a good time though, man. But salute to everybody. Y'all know the usual rules and regulations when you tap in with your independent content creators, man. First and foremost, when y'all slide into the chat, make sure y'all hit that like button. The more likes that we get on these videos, the more that these platforms will support the content. So you want to see the liquor store do well. If you want to see Mitch platform do well, make sure y'all hit the like button on both channels. After that, I need y'all to hit the share button. Y'all know that we do practice manifestation over here in the liquor store. Now, listen, we must not have manifested hard enough. We did not put enough positive energy in the world because, as you see, we went one and done. Both of us did. So, we're going to get a early head start for next year. So if y'all want the Dallas Cowboys to win a sixth championship, share the content 6 times, drop 6 emojis. We're going to try to put a much positive energy in the world as humanly possible. My boy said the Commanders have most potential. How did that happen? Man, I don't know. Listen, but they got a culture change over there. The Commanders are in the middle of a culture change. They swapped out owners. They're swapping out head coaches. So there's a bunch of hope. When you got a high draft pick, you're changing GMs, changing front office people, changing the franchise quarterback, adding pieces. There's a lot to be excited about in a situation like that. So I think that's why a lot of our fan base wanted to move on from Dak Prescott, wanted to move on from Mike McCarthy. I know there was rumblings about people wanting Nick Sirianni gone. I know there were some people that were tired of Jalen Hurts. And it's crazy. It's crazy though, right? It's the difference that a year make. Because like if you were to tell me a year removed from them going to the Super Bowl to now with them being one and done in the playoffs and people questioning Nick Sirianni, I don't really think a lot of people saw that, especially with the level of hype surrounding the team going to the offseason. And listen, y'all still had a pretty good team, man. So I want to ask you, Mitch, what the hell you think happened?
I can tell you this like right from the get-go, man. It's just like after the 49ers game, after the bye week, and the 49ers, they figured this out. They figured how predictable the Eagles' offense was. They figured it out. They got it all to figure it out, and then the Eagles just went downhill, bro. Like mentally, Jalen Hurts and Brian Johnson were never on the same page, bro. They were never on the same page since week one. So you can tell from all his schematics, all of his stuff, it was just not working for Jalen Hurts. It was just not there. And then you add AJ Brown to the mix, right, with him demanding the ball and all that nonsense. And it's just drama throughout the wazoo. And with Sean Desai, just the defensive coordinator, just going, it was just like so bad. It did not fit anything. He had his son Reddick in coverage. Who does that? Who has Hassan Reddick in coverage? And then it just went downhill from man. And I predicted that during Seattle game. I predicted that right after we lost to you guys. So it's just like with Seattle, I was like, it's done. It's over. We're gonna lose the rest, and pretty much we did.
Yeah, man. And I had my theories about the Eagles to start off, but y'all kept winning games. But it was not convincing in the manner that y'all were winning games early on, like getting into dog fights with teams like the Patriots. Uh, and in hindsight, getting into shootouts with the Commanders is not really a thing, because we know now Sam Howell got benched. They end up having to play him again in the season finale because Jacoby Brissett got hurt. But they didn't end up being a good team. So getting into shootouts with the Commanders, having a hard time putting away the New England Patriots, things like that. Now y'all had some close wins against some quality teams too, right? Y'all did beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Y'all did end up beating the Buffalo Bills. But it's a hard way to live life. Having to win a close game week in and week out.
Yeah.
That's a hard way to make a living.
It really is, man. But the thing is, from the beginning of the season to the end for us, we've figured out ways to win, the ways to beat these teams. After the Niners game, man, the mentality just went downhill. It's just like we had no answers at all with the play calling. We would do run, bubble screen, run, bubble screen. It was so predictable. Do you remember when Christian McCaffrey was on the Manning podcast, whatever you call that? McCaffrey called our plays to the T, and he was in a booth. You know how bad that is?
That's very predictable if that's the case.
Yeah, that's basically it. Our offense was predictable, and the defense, it's so no heart. That's basically what it comes down to.
I mean, man, when you really think about the amount of talent that y'all lost, man, I was surprised that y'all actually got to 11 games. Like, I actually... my preseason prediction, and I think a lot of people laughed at it, but I think I said y'all were going to go 9-8, and it wasn't because I'm an Eagle hater or no shit like that. It's just you lose 11 sacks from the defensive tackle position. You end up losing 6 interceptions from C.J. Gardner-Johnson. You lost your primary linebackers. So it's a bunch of key players that were missing from the equation, from a defense that already had some structural flaws from last season, right? Because we were able to. I know that Jalen Hurts didn't play. We were able to put up points on that defense. So there were some times where the defense didn't play up to par even last year, and y'all had better talent at that point. So when you take away key contributors off that defense, you're bringing back older outside cornerbacks. You got who's of journeyman linebackers taking reps for you. I'm really surprised you won as many games. Landlord had y'all flat at 500. Now I gave you 9-8. I think Landlord gave you 8-9. Like, y'all won some close games and end up getting to 11. But thank God that y'all did start the way that y'all started, or it would have been hell.
Right. And there was one key player you forgot to mention. That was TJ Edwards, our linebacker. He led our team in tackling for like years on end. And people were like, oh, we can't tackle now. There's a shock. We got rid of TJ Edwards and Kaiser White. Kaiser White made some noise last year. Not a lot of people are talking about that. People are just talking about, just everything with our secondaries, our linebackers just being inconsistent and being terrible throughout this whole year. And then you just go and see the key players are gone, and we have Bradbury, who stunk it up ever since that concussion in week 1. Darius Slay was on his podcast running his mouth, and it's just like, it was not that. The cornerbacks were just old, getting burnt every 5 seconds. CeeDee Lamb burnt us the second game we played, y'all. So, just it. We were too old.
Yeah. So, I saw some rumblings. So I'm gonna pull this one up real quick since we're on the subject, because we'll stay on the Eagles a little bit before we get to the Cowboys, because there's plenty of shit to talk about around here.
Oh my God, yes.
But there is rumblings that y'all might be interested in bringing in Vic Fangio. There was a mutual separation between him and the Miami Dolphins. We all know Fangio is famous for his time with the Denver Broncos. He allegedly had the blueprint for the Dallas Cowboys. But what are your thoughts about adding Vic Fangio, going in that direction?
Well, here's the one thing I'm just keep on thinking when we get a new defensive coordinator, new offensive coordinator. Are they going to step up to Howie Roseman, Jeffrey Lurie? Are they going to step up to these guys and just be like, I don't want to be your puppet. I want to. This is how my defense is going to run. You better respect it. If you don't respect me and my defensive play calling or offensive play calling, I'm gone. See ya. They don't want to be controlled. And with Nick Sirianni in the press conference today, he goes, man, I should be a part of more defensive meetings. Like, that's controlling right there. We don't need that. We need someone who will take control and not listen to anything these guys have to say. And so if we get Vic Fangio, it looks like we are. He's a bend, don't break defense again. He's just like Sean Desai, but he's better. He has more credentials and stuff like that. I like it to an extent. I need to see it on the field first before everybody just go like, oh, give me this, give me this, give me this. That's not me. I hate when these Eagles fans just go like, oh, here's a guy. Can we get him? Can we get him? Can we get him? No. I need to see the guy on the field. I need to see with the players and everything. So I just need him to step up to the owner and GM, Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman.
Okay. I can dig it. Dig it. So what did you have any questions about the Cowboys? I know you're probably curious about what the hell happened at the end.
Dak Prescott, man. What is going on with him, bro? Like, for me, it's just like, he was doing great, and then the playoffs. Doing great, playoffs. He did good in the playoff game, right? He did okay?
The numbers are misleading, right? Because he ended up having over 400 yards and 3 passing touchdowns, but a majority of that came when the game was already out of reach, right? We went down 27-0 in that game, and listen, like Dak Prescott had a fair share to do with the playoff loss, but defense folded as well. Defense could not get off the field. They allowed scores on 6 of their first 7 possessions, touchdowns, like not even just field goals, but touchdowns. And even if you take away the 2 interceptions that Dak Prescott threw, this defense still gave up 34 points. Like, disregard the interceptions he threw, like, the defense still gave up 34 points. So Dak Prescott did not have a great game, but nobody on our team did. CeeDee Lamb came out there dropping balls and pouting. Brandon Cooks got bullied by a cornerback on 1 foot, because remember, Zaire Alexander wasn't even expected to play in that game. So, he allowed Zaire Alexander to bully him to the point of attack. He ended up getting an interception on that play. He gave up on a goal ball that could have led to an explosive play down the sideline. So there were some other things outside of Dak Prescott, and as I mentioned with the defense, they let Jordan Love have the most efficient quarterback game in playoff history. He had the highest EPA ever. So shit. Like, I don't really know what happened. Now, in all honesty, like, the things that fell apart for the Dallas Cowboys were some issues that we had throughout the course of the season. The Dallas Cowboys are formulaic in the way that they have to win football games. We got to get up early, pass the football, Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb be on the same page, build a lead, and then unleash our pass rushers, because Dallas Cowboys cannot stop the run. We've had issues at the linebacker spot. What's up with your West Coast? Thank you for tapping in and showing love, bro. Yeah, so the Dallas Cowboys have had issues stopping the run. Haven't had great linebacker play. We've been playing a bunch of hybrid defense with safeties. Dan Quinn runs more big nickel and dime than any other defensive coordinator in the National Football League. So we've had those issues there. We also have not had the ability to run the football. Now, Tony Pollard did end with 1,000 yards, but over the course of a 17-game season, that's very misleading. He only eclipsed the 100-yard mark once the entire season. So Dallas Cowboys not being able to run the football, not being able to stop the run, being a one-dimensional team, it came back to bite us at the worst time, right? And for proper context, our defense has been giving up 29 points per game to teams with winning records this season. 11 against teams under 500, 28.7. So 29 against teams that have winning records. So this team overall was a good team with glaring holes and glaring flaws, and they all just came to the light when we end up playing this playoff game.
hmm The thing that kind of shocked me with your Cowboys, and I'm being completely honest here, and it's just like Pollard, right? And we know what kind of running back he is. And the fact that you just told me that he didn't get 100 yards per game, it was like most of them except for once, that
Mhm.
shocked me. Because before when he had Ezekiel Elliott there, he was running all over the field. He was getting 100 yards a game, so I wonder what happened here. Like, that's just for me. I like Pollard. He's a talented running back. I like him a lot.
I believe he came back entirely too early because you got to think about it. He broke his leg in January, and by February and by September, we had him taking running back one reps to start the season. And he's in an entirely different role. When he had Ezekiel Elliott, he was to change the pace back, right? He didn't have to pace himself or anything. He didn't have to worry about uh, pass blocking or anything else like that. Like he was just a home run hitter in the offense, change the pace back, and he did good in that role. But he's in a different role. We pretty much asked him to do more when he was slightly diminished, and I think that came back to bite us as well. And we really didn't have another complimentary back for Tony Pollard. We went into the season hoping that Rico Dow could do it. Rico Dow dealt with an ankle injury damn near for 2 months, right? So he can't stay healthy. Tony Pollard coming off of an injury. They weren't very happy with the production that they got from Deuce Vaughn. So the Dallas Cowboy run game was damn near non-existent. Like it was pretty much Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb or bust, and that's why they ended up having the numbers that they had. Like people forget, Dak Prescott ended up leading the league in passing touchdowns and sitting out 2 games worth of fourth quarters. Like we had to throw the ball early and often a lot just because we were pretty much a one-dimensional offense. So it worked out. They ended up making all pro selections. We won 12 games. But in the playoffs, look at the teams that are left standing. Every team that's left in the playoffs can run the football and stop the run, and the Dallas Cowboys cannot do either.
Yeah. So would you want to get like a running back in the draft, pretty much in the later ones, maybe to help Pollard like be that kind of back?
See, Tony Pollard's a free agent. So there's a couple options for the Dallas Cowboys there. If they want to bring Tony Pollard back at a reduced deal and then draft a running back in like the second round, third round, an actual quality running back, and not wait until the fifth or sixth round like we did last year, that's an option. If they wanted to go in and go, big game fishing and try and go all in for a Josh Jacobs, and then you can draft a running back in the later rounds, I'd be all for that too. But
Yeah.
it just really depends on the market and what the Dallas Cowboys can acquire. Because there's some pretty decent running backs in this draft. So
Yeah.
and there's a bunch of free agents. I don't know if Saquon Barkley will be back in New York, but like if he can stay healthy, he's a damn good back. Derrick Henry still has some tread left on the tire. Josh Jacobs, your guy, Swift. You know
Swift. Yeah.
he stayed healthy. And that was the one question mark I had about y'all run game because y'all let go of Miles Sanders, and both of the running backs you brought in had injury histories. But Swift stayed healthy pretty much all year, if I'm not mistaken, and he ended up being a Pro Bowl back.
You know why? Because we barely. It's funny too. We barely gave him the ball, and he still hit 1,000 yards his first time in his career. And it's just like we're a run first team. That's what the Eagles are. A run first team. You barely give him the ball. You had Jalen Hurts run around everywhere. So with Swift getting 1,000 yards and not getting the ball enough, that's props in my book. Would I love to keep Miles Sanders? Sure. We couldn't afford him. He would want too much money. So I'm kind of glad he went to Carolina and look what happened over there.
Right.
I'm just glad with that, man.
Yeah, and you also got to remember, man, going to different location, different run scheme, different blocking system, probably didn't work out in his favor. He said, "Can we sign Bobby Wagner or Devin White?" Yes. So there are plenty of. Because in my opinion, I don't know what everything y'all need over there on that end, But on our end, we need linebacker, we need running back. Depending on what they do at the center position, because our center, matter of fact, y'all gonna need center too if Kelsey goes through with his retirement. So we're also probably gonna need a center depending what they do with Tyler Biotis. But Bobby Wagner, Devin White, I would sign either one of those because Levante David is available, Devin White is available, Bobby Wagner. I always butchered the young man's name.
Oh,
Aziz.
I know who you're talking about. I can't say his name, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he's a damn good linebacker himself. So like
Yeah.
there's plenty of players available to fill those needs. My only concern is with the Dallas Cowboys if they're actually be willing to go out there and shop in free agency.
I don't know, man. I don't know. But same with the Eagles. We need a linebacker as well. Like, seriously, we have, like, literally nobody. Like, Miles Jack. We got Miles Jack, right? He retired, then went to Pittsburgh. And then we had, like, Cunningham. He did okay, I guess. Kobe Dean was injured. I mean, our linebackers, we need someone. Bobby Wagner, some Eagles fans want him. I don't know how I really feel about him. How old is Wagner? Isn't he, like, 30?
He's 33. But
33.
what was crazy, he made the All-Pro team this year. Like, he's been an All-Pro the last 3 seasons. So I know that he might not be the same Bobby Wagner that he was, but hell, he might be aging backwards because he had a career high in tackles this year. He had 185.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. The Eagles will take Bobby Wagner. I just need someone to fit this defensive coordinator scheme if it is Vic Fangio. If it is him.
Now, if you got Vic Fangio, you're running a 4-3 right now, aren't you? Technically.
Technically, yes. Some people say 3-4. Some people say 4-3. Technically, it's a 4-3.
Right. So, and no, most defenses are hybrid defenses anyway, right? In this passing league, most teams stay in a nickel base any damn way. So,
yeah, pretty much.
But Vic Fangio, we know that he probably wants to run a 3-4 when he gets to Philly if he comes, right? So, and that's one reason why I'm not ready for the draft just yet because I still don't know what we're going to do with our own defensive coordinator, right? Because if we change over from Dan Quinn, I don't think we're necessarily ready to just jump over to a 3-4. If we were to get a different defensive coordinator. I think that takes like a couple of like 1 or 2 seasons to get that implemented correctly with the personnel. So if we were to bring somebody else in other than Dan Quinn, I would prefer them to also be a 4-3 base defensive coordinator. And listen, if Dan Quinn would just actually value the linebacker position, I would be happy with Dan Quinn. But he just wants to play safeties all over the damn field, and it does not work for us.
Right. Now, would you want Vic Fangio for your defense?
I think he's a good defensive coordinator, but I don't necessarily know if he can fit what we're doing right now, right?
Yeah.
Because we already have issues stopping the run. If you move over to a 3-4 and you don't have the personnel, right, it's already hard to stop the run in a 3-4 unless you have a super dominant defensive tackle, right? That's why you see most of these 3-4 defenses and they rank towards the bottom end in run defense because you're taking an extra big body off the field to put a linebacker out there. So it's hard unless you got a Warren Sapp or a Vita Vea or a monster in the middle that's eating up space and making it hard on these running backs and these running schemes. It's really hard to stop the run in a 3-4 base defense, and that's really where we struggle at right now. So I would prefer somebody that wants to play 4-3, values linebackers, is not going to play these bastard coverages all the time. Because right now, Marquise Bell, who is technically one of our linebackers, he's a safety that they asked to play linebacker. He was an undrafted free agent out of FAMU. He's a real good player. I think he'll be a great box safety. But asking him to play full-time linebacker at 205 pounds is fucking crazy.
Yeah. Now, how did Maggie Smith do for you? Because I'm a huge Michigan fan, so I want to know how he did over there.
Maggie Smith, man, he didn't have a great season, but I also feel like they didn't do him any favors. So they asked him to lose 40 pounds.
So, right, I did hear that. Yeah.
He came in 330, as you know, and they had him playing around 290. And I don't think that really suits him. When I scouted him, I liked his raw power. I liked it was hard to move him. Even though he didn't have a quick get off, as people say, it's hard to move him from the point of attack. It still usually took a double team to dislodge him from where you from the line of scrimmage. So
Right.
like I liked his space eating ability and his potential, but I didn't like the fact that they had him playing undersized and pretty much turned him to a tweener. I would
Yeah.
have preferred that they just allowed him to be who he was, because that really what I wanted him for. I saw the potential in him being the key to us stopping the run, and that just really didn't manifest this year. Now
Yeah.
we had Jonathan Hankins, and I really
Right.
thought that would actually play them simultaneously more often, given our issues with the run. But really we ended up running out there. Our primary lineup was Jonathan Hankins and Osa Odighizuwa were playing the 3 tech position. So
Hmm.
I think that Maji Smith just needs time, but it was just weird to me how they handled him.
I'm telling you, man, in Michigan, that guy was a dog. That guy was a dog. Like, you would see like 2 or 3 people on him. And I'm telling you, this guy's going to make some noise, but I agree with you. He needs to wait. That's what he needs. Like, I
Thanks.
don't know why they told him to cut weight. That was the stupidest thing I ever heard.
Yeah, he said Maji was supposed to be a space eater. Yeah, it's easier to eat up space when you take up more space, right? So I would think, right, just the law of physics at 330 it's harder to block me than if I was at 290. Like there's more of me.
I mean, look at Jordan Davis on the Eagles. Yes, I know our rush defense was great in the beginning and then it fell flat. But you still got to take accountable for Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. Like, those guys are behemoths. Those guys can move. They can get to the quarterback. We have our guys. We have them. But it's just like with the defensive coordinator with Sean Desai and Matt Patricia, that did not work. So it's just like, yeah, I agree with you on the weight.
He said we love them, but still got 2 retread safeties and a 6 rounder, plus fifth UDFA at linebacker. Besides Mozzie, we don't have a tackle taken in the first 2 rounds, which is very true. And that's why I said the Dallas Cowboys, man, they got a lot of housekeeping to do this upcoming off season, because
Right.
we got to decide what we're going to do with Stephon Gilmore. If we want to re-sign him and bring him back for another year, or do we want to go out there and try and find another corner. We will need to figure out our linebacker situation. Need to figure out our defensive tackle situation. Need to figure out what we're going to do with Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. And Micah Parsons got contracts coming up. Got to figure out what we're going to do with center. So it's going to be a very interesting off season moving forward, man. But
Yep.
I was just gonna say though, man. What are your thoughts about your head coach, about Nick Sirianni?
Oh God. So my thoughts about him, right? Last year when we made it to the Super Bowl, we had Shane Steichen and my God, I forget it. I'm drawing a blank on the guy's name,
Both
but
Arizona.
yeah, I forget his name. Frank, right? I'm really
Jonathan
drawing.
Gannon.
It was Jonathan Gannon, right? He was so bad for us that he was. I forgot his name, but the point is, with Shane Steichen, he was the one calling the plays. So it's just like Nick Sirianni didn't have to do anything with Shane Steichen. So when Nick Sirianni did not have that sealed, he got exposed. Nick Sirianni got exposed for who he truly is, and he like the presser today. He was just going in circles, saying the same thing over and over again. Like, I want him gone, but obviously that's not going to happen because if you look at the past of the Eagles' history of coaches, as soon as they had a losing season, they were gone. Chip Kelly, uh, Doug Peterson. As soon as they had a losing season, cut it, gone. He didn't have a losing season yet. He took us to the playoffs each and every year, and we went to the Super Bowl last year. So it's just, for that being said, I don't like him, but he's still our head coach.
Right. And see, and I think we're at a. I like Mike McCarthy, but I don't like how it ended. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
and listen, the Dallas Cowboys could have. We've had horrible seasons, right? We've had a 6-10 and 8-8 and 8-8 and 8-8. Like we were so inconsistent when Jason Garrett was here. So like to go 12-5, 3 consecutive seasons, like that's a step in the right direction, because the Dallas Cowboys only had 4 playoff trips when Jason Garrett was here, and we got 3 consecutive in the first 4 years of Mike McCarthy. But it's the playoffs, man. Like the stinkers in the playoffs are why a lot of people are souring on Mike McCarthy. Because you think about it, we won the division, right? We won the division twice since he's been here. So 2021 home playoff game, lost to the 49ers and we were favored. 2022, we actually won a road playoff game, right? So we were building in the right direction, lost a very close game to the 49ers on the road. Cool. No shame in that. Let's build on that. 12-5 again, won a division this season. Favored, number 2 seed, guaranteed 2 home playoff games if you win your first one. And you get blown out by a team that was 1 game over 500. So, that's the disconnect right now that a lot of us feel with Mike McCarthy. So I wouldn't have mind moving on, trying something different, but I also understand, when you have that level of consistency, you're damn near guaranteed to go to the playoffs every season and have a fighting chance to compete for a championship. And, he was the play caller this year, right? So if you were to move on from Mike McCarthy, you would have to find a whole different play caller for Dak Prescott. He just had his best statistical season as a starter. Same thing with CeeDee Lamb. I know that the playoffs were disappointing, but Dak Prescott was a second team All-Pro. CeeDee Lamb was a first team All-Pro. Jake Ferguson put up top 10 tight end production in this offense. And this is just year one, right? Usually in year one, you don't have everything fine-tuned and together. So theoretically, if Mike McCarthy comes back, his offense might actually be better this year. So that's one of the only things I can give him credit for. Like, progression, elevation of the offense, and the consistency. But he's on a 1-year deal at this point. And I think that might make it harder for us to get another defensive coordinator in here. If Dan Quinn was to leave, our options are probably going to be internal, because I don't think anybody want to come into Dallas and pitch their wagon about McCarthy, knowing that he might be a dead man walking.
Yeah. So I just gotta ask you, were you thrilled when you guys hired him, or you didn't want him from the beginning?
I like Mike McCarthy when we first hired him. My issue with it was they didn't let him select his offensive coordinator from the start. They pretty much pushed Kellen Moore onto him when he came here, because Kellen Moore was a holdover from the Jason Garrett administration. So Mike McCarthy came in. They had a bunch of offensive philosophical standpoints that there were impasses on. Like a lot of what Kellen Moore was doing was Air Coryell. Mike McCarthy wanted to implement more staple West Coast principles in the offense, and there was a disconnect there. So that's pretty much why Mike McCarthy decided to fire Kellen Moore and take over play calling, because he wanted to do it his way. He made his bones in this league being a quote unquote quarterback whisperer and offensive play caller. He's worked with Joe Montana. He's worked with Brett Favre. He's worked with Aaron Rodgers. So he wanted to be more hands-on with Dak Prescott. He wanted to implement his own style of offense. And for the most part, outside of the first 5 games in the postseason, it paid dividends. It's just getting better. Like the run game, right? He said they also got rid of McCarthy, running back coach and linebacker coach, and that did not pay dividends. The run game took a step back. The linebacker play has taken a step back. So we see that did not work out too well. Now, did it?
Now, here's the difference between me and you. I did not want Nick Sirianni from the beginning. I did not want him, because you know what did it for me? Was the Flowers press conference about the Flowers. That for me, I was like, oh God, this is not going to do. You talk about rock, paper, scissors, you talk about Flowers. It's like, no, that's not going to do it here. But obviously, he took us to the Super Bowl, so obviously, this is why I don't work for the organization.
Man, it be like that sometimes. Yeah. Let's see. Philly special card in the building. He said, yo, what's up with you?
That's my guy. That's my guy, Spongy. What is up, bro? Thank you for stopping by. But now let me ask you this, right?
What's up?
We already know our teams for next year. We already know who we're gonna play. This, that. How do you feel with your team currently constructed now going into that season for next year with the
But
teams? How do you feel?
not physical enough. I don't think the Dallas Cowboys are physical enough for the schedule that we got coming up. We both play the AFC North. Those are going to
Yeah.
be some hellified games because we know that they can play defense and they can run the hell out of the football. Both of us not having linebackers is going to be an issue when we play the Ravens, when we play the Browns, when we play what the other team, the Bengals, because they even they got Joe Nixon. So like all those teams can run the damn football. They all got pretty damn good defenses. Some of those games might end up being cold weather games, depending on what time of year that we go out there and play. So I don't think the Dallas Cowboys are currently physical enough for the schedule. Now, of course we'll get two of them in Dallas. Y'all get two of them in Philly. But it's going to be a tough schedule. Then I saw that y'all also end up going to New Orleans, which is a tough place to play. We're going to host the Texans and hopefully beat the shit out of them. Eastside, how you doing, my boy? But I don't think either one of us have a cakewalk schedule at this point. At least not with the way that our teams are currently constructed.
Like for us, we have to go down to the minimum, like basic fundamentals. We have to go back for our team. So I am not confident right now how this team's constructed against those teams next season. Like I am not confident at all. A lot needs to be changed. Yes, we fired Brian Johnson. Yes, Matt Patricia is gone, and yes, Sean Desai is gone. Yep, those guys are gone. But more needs to happen. We need guys who can tackle. We need someone who can cover on the corners. We need younger guys. The offense. We need like someone to help Jalen Hurts, and especially with our offensive line, if Jason Kelsey actually turns out to retire, which I don't think he will. I don't think he is going to retire, but if he does, it is what it is. Like it's offensive line for me.
Right. Hey, Eastside, put some money on it, man. We're gonna have a $5 wager.
Huh?
I ain't gonna take too much money from you, my boy. We're gonna have ourselves a little wager, man. We'll put some money up there on that Cowboy Texan game.
Actually, I'm glad he brought up the Texans because the Eagles interviewed their quarterback coach for the offensive coordinator job. So I like that. I was gonna bring that up actually, and I don't know what he did with Bryce Young, bro. That is insane. Bryce Young might go down as one of the best rookie quarterback seasons we've ever seen in like ever. So if he could do that with this Eagles team.
CJ Stroud, getting the Bryce Young over there going through it, but CJ.
Oh, CJ Stroud. I don't know why I said, dude. I had a long day, man.
It'd be like that, bro. It'd be like that.
Yeah, CJ Stroud. Yep. But you get my point. Like with their offensive coordinator, with their quarterback coach being our offensive coordinator, see what he can do with this. I'm looking forward to that.
Let me see, Gerard Johnson. Why did that name sound familiar to me? I think he played. Yeah, he played. Matter of fact, I remember Gerard Johnson.
Yeah.
All right, so
yeah, that was his name. Yep.
So Gerard Johnson, he played for y'all too at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's see. Quarterback coach. Huh. That wouldn't be a bad hire. And if he, how can I say this? If he's going to bring the same kind of offense with him, right? Because Bill Slowick is running a version of the West Coast offense that he picked up from his time as the passing game coordinator in San Francisco, right? So he's from the Kyle Shanahan coaching tree. I don't know if Gerard Johnson is gonna use the same principles, but if they were to put Jalen Hurts in a West Coast offense, I think it'd be better suited to his talents. It's not a lot of hard. And I'm not saying that he can't read a defense or anything, but it's not a hard system to run because we're running West Coast too. Most of the time, is 1-2 escape the pocket. Right, those are usually the reads, and if it's a 3-read route concept, you just hang in the pocket and get there. But it's not a hard progression offense. It's a pure progression, timing based offense, and then somebody of Jalen Hurts' athletic ability when you do get to the scramble drill after the initial 2.3 seconds, then you know that he can hurt a defense at that point. So
Yeah.
that probably would be better suited for Jalen Hurts in the long run.
Now, when you look at Brian Johnson, he had Jalen Hurts in shotgun majority of the game. You barely saw him under snap. So it's just like, what was he doing here? You got to mix it up. It's like that's why I hate Brian Johnson the most. He was so predictable with our offense. Like anybody could guess that. Anybody. I'm not surprised that McCaffrey got it.
I mean, I'm really surprised that Brian Johnson didn't do a good job out there.
Really?
Yeah, because he had a good track record. He was Dak Prescott's offensive play caller in college when he was a Heisman candidate. So like I really thought that he would help Jalen Hurts out because Dak Prescott is definitely not the athlete he used to be, but like he called up some good stuff back then. And of course, it's a big difference in between the collegiate level and in the NFL. But I really thought that he would put Jalen Hurts in better situation to be successful.
Yeah, and a lot of people did too because he was so close with Jalen Hurts. Like he's close with his dad. Like they're like best friends. So they thought, oh, the connection's there. It's gonna work well. And I'm like, clearly not. Clearly that did not go well. So hopefully Brian Johnson gets a job out there. He's getting head coaching interviews.
Well, we'll see how that works out. I don't necessarily think he'll get a head coaching job. I don't even think Dan Quinn is going to get a head coaching job. I'm pretty sure at this point, after the debacle that he put on tape in this last playoff game, nobody is going to touch him right now. I don't think he's the hot commodity that he once was.
Of course.
Yeah, like matter of fact, we were just talking about the Houston Texans. I think Bobby Slowick gets a job right now before Dan Quinn does.
Oh yeah, I can totally see that. After how the Texans did this year, and D'Amico Ryans is going to win Coach of the Year. If he doesn't, then I don't know who will.
They're going to give it to Kevin Stefanski probably.
You think?
I think because the way that they said it during the broadcast, the way that they talked about it on Twitter with some of the analysts, they said remember, Coach of the Year was voted on before the playoffs. They put before in big ass letters, like, oh, y'all trying to lighten the blow on this shit, okay?
But D'Amico Ryans took a 2-win team to the playoffs and won. Damn. I really want to be D'Amico Ryans. And what he did with Derek Barnett, woo-wee.
I know. Hey, that's a good story for them though, man. They went from a 2-win team to winning their division and winning a playoff game.
Yeah.
Like they're multiple years ahead of schedule. I wouldn't be surprised if they front offense went all in this next season and got the young man some more toys to play with.
Right. I definitely agree. D'Amico Ryans deserves to be in that conversation. Like if he doesn't win it, I'll be shocked.
I mean, he deserves it, but I got an inkling just with the way that they phrased it, in this Twitter space and these quote unquote professionals. Half these motherfuckers be having votes anyway. It's the same 50 people. But for real though, it's the same 50 people that vote for the Defensive Player of the Year. They vote for the All-Pro selection. They vote for MVP. It's the same 50-man panel. So I'm pretty sure they got an inkling on who the hell they voted for. That's why they. That's why I don't pay
attention to Twitter. But did you hear that the Commanders are going to get the Lions offensive coordinator as their head coach?
Ben Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a good hire for them.
That would be, man. That would be. That means Eric Bieniemy come to the Eagles, please. We'll take an offensive coordinator.
Now I'm gonna ask you this: would you want Eric Bieniemy in Philly, knowing that he does not want to run the football? Would you be able to live with yourself if he asked Jalen Hurts to throw the ball 40 to 45 times every damn game? Now, he damn near blew Sam Howell arm out.
Yeah, I know that, but here's the thing. He's not predictable like Brian Johnson was. He's not predictable at all. He'll try some creative things, but if he doesn't run the ball like at least 20 to 25 times, I'll be like, okay, now we're in the same boat. We're in the same boat as last year. Nothing really changed. but I just love his creativity on the field and what he can do. And I still think he should be a head coach somewhere.
He probably
Not a lot of
should.
he probably should, bro. It's like he's doing great stuff. But he can yeah. So I would love Bieniemy just for his creativeness on the field.
Yeah, Eric Bieniemy is not a bad play caller or anything like that. I just know earlier you said that y'all were a run first team. I just wanted to make sure that you knew what the hell going on with Eric.
Yeah. Trust me, I know. It's just our creativity. I'm tired of predictability. I'm tired of it. Like, did you know the plays we were gonna run when we played you?
Most of the time, yeah. You know,
That's my point exactly.
I mean, like most of the time most of the time I knew when the quarterback run was coming.
Right.
That one was the main tell because it seemed like y'all ran it from the same damn set every time.
That's exactly why I want Bieniemy. Yes, he may throw the ball, but he's creative, man. He's not predictable. That's exactly what I want, bro.
Said Jared Johnson would want the OC job with the Texans or the Eagles. I don't see a issue of him taking the job with the Eagles because and you are right because if Bobby Slowick gets a job, then he could just step up and be the next offensive coordinator for Houston. But I also could see him going to Philly. It just depends on what the money talking like, personnel. Just because listen, when you got options, it's always good to see what they talking like.
Yeah. But really quick, bro. I want to switch over to the Giants real quick. Did you really think they were going to be as bad as they were this season? Because I thought they were going to be terrible, but not like this. I didn't have them being this bad.
Let's see. How many games they end up winning? 6?
Like 5, 6. They beat us in the last game.
Let me see.
They were like 5 or 6.
I
know had them going like 10 wins. I'm like, dude, no, they're not going to get 10.
I had them under 500 because I saw their schedule. Like I actually didn't think that y'all would lose to them. Like before the season started, I had y'all sweeping them. I had us sweeping them. I had them losing to Green Bay. They actually ended up winning that game. I had them losing to Seattle, which they did. Of course, I had them lose to the 49ers. So, like, I didn't really have them winning a bunch of games any damn way. Now, it sucks that they end up losing Daniel Jones for the season. I never, ever want to see a player get hurt. So, I hated that for him. But even with Daniel Jones, I did not think Daniel Jones was a good quarterback. Like 15 passing touchdowns, 5 rushing touchdowns, get you $40 million in the league. I should, dust my cleats off, see what the hell I can do out there.
Trust me. I mean, Daniel Jones, I knew he was bad from the beginning. I mean, he came from Duke. What good football player came from Duke?
I had to Google it to see this.
Exactly my point. Exactly my point.
Alumni.
Watch me forget like this one Hall of Famer.
It be like that. Let's see. Dwayne Carter, Riley Leonard. I don't really think there's a bunch of good Duke football players.
Exactly my point. They're a basketball school, and trust me, I'm a Michigan fan. They kicked our ass many times.
It said Rico said 6. Eric in Philly would be good. Hurts throwing 40 times, mean 25 interceptions. Damn.
Now, some Eagles fans, especially my co-host Cool Cat Connor of Cool Cat Mitch, he was upset that he threw 15 interceptions and like 23, 24 touchdowns. He's like, that has to go down, and I can agree with that. So if maybe Eric Bieniemy is a passing guy, and I do love his creativeness, I mean, we do have the weapons. We do have AJ Brown. Dallas Goedert when they use them correctly, and Devontae Smith. We do have the weapons for Jalen Hurts. So it's not like he's throwing the bums.
Yeah, so, I would say, man, lean toward. Listen, you got a very athletic quarterback, and he won't always have that athleticism. Mm-hmm. Like quarterbacks play for a long time. Let him run for as long as he can run.
Right.
Like I'm honest with you, because like I miss Dak Prescott's athleticism. You know what I mean? Like, he still has a little bit left. He's not a statue in the pocket by any means, but you know, he don't move the same as when he first came into the league before he broke his leg, and of course he's going to be 31 soon. So, and listen, when you look around the league, most of the quarterbacks that they're in love with are mobile quarterbacks, right?
Yep.
They love Josh Allen and what he does on the field. He didn't throw for 30 touchdowns this year either. You know, he had 40 some touchdowns total, but he only had like 20 some passing. A bunch of interceptions. People love Lamar Jackson. He's going to be the MVP this year. Was the first team All Pro. We know what he does on the ground with his legs. Your boy Jalen Hurts made an All Pro team last year as primarily a rushing quarterback. That's just pretty much the wave. Even Patrick Mahomes, for as good as he is with his arm, he's scrambling. He's running. He's getting out of the pocket and making plays. So I wouldn't force anything on Jalen Hurts before I had to. It's like let him be Jalen Hurts. You can win with Jalen Hurts being Jalen Hurts. You don't have to ask him to be Brett Favre or anybody else right now.
Of course. I mean, look at Mahomes. He's throwing to basically nobody except for Kelsey. That's basically it. Stanley, I forget the other guy, but it's mostly Kelsey. And he's about to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, because I do think they'll beat the Ravens. I got
the Ravens. I got the Ravens.
I got Kansas City over the Ravens.
Yeah. How about the NFC? Who you got? You got Lions?
I would prefer the Lions over the damn. I think I would prefer, but as long as the 49ers 49er it and lose in the Super Bowl like they done did the last couple of times, I can live with it. Going and losing, you know how I feel about that. I always get the last laugh at that.
Right. I got the Niners. I mean, McCaffrey says the whole freaking team, and Debo may not play. He didn't practice today. So, McCaffrey's going to be all over that field.
Mm-hmm. But I will say this. The one thing defensively that the Detroit Lions can do without a shadow of a doubt is stop the run.
Yeah,
they're one of the better run stopping units in the National Football League. So if they can slow the run game down, if they can try and force Brock Purdy into some errant throws, they got some guy that can take the ball away. Now that they got C.J. Gardner-Johnson back, that might be the difference, because I do believe outside of Charvarius Ward that they can take advantage of their corners in the passing game.
Mm-hmm. And then don't forget Hutchinson. Hutchinson's a freak, bro. He's a freak.
And Aiden Hutchinson, a damn good football player.
I love him, bro. Michigan. That's all I gotta say, bro.
Alone. Yeah.
James
Crowder.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, man. Who do you think out of the NFC East do you think will be in the division? Who do you think will win it next year? Because it's always unpredictable.
I was gonna say it can't be the Dallas Cowboys by default, right? Because
That's exactly my point.
There ain't been a repeat winner, so
since us.
Yes, it's been a long time. So, matter of fact, I'm gonna hold judgment on it because I don't know how anybody team's gonna look. Because we ain't had free agency, we ain't had the draft. Like some folks are still looking for defensive coordinators and everything like that. So as currently constructed, I don't know. Like right now, if where everybody was to run everything back with what we have, like I think most people would say the Cowboys, right? Because y'all haven't solidified y'all coordinators yet. But I don't know. See, Keith said the Giants. Like it might be the Giants' time. Maybe the Commanders.
It might be the Commanders with the new head coach.
New head coach, new quarterback,
and the new owners. Josh Harris and Magic Johnson.
And them, yeah. So you never know, man. Like shit. The odds say that it won't be the Dallas Cowboys, but I gotta wait and see because we got gaping assholes on the team, man. So I can't say yeah and nay to anything right now.
Our whole team is a big hole. Our whole team is a big hole. I mean, tell us a great spot. Yes, AJ Brown. Yes, Devontae. I can nitpick. But our team's a big hole.
I can feel that because hell, I know for a fact if the Dallas Cowboys don't do anything about linebacker or running back, in the off season, I'm not gonna feel very confident going into the actual season.
Right. Yep. Hi. So, is there anything else you got on the docket, or we're just gonna close it out here?
We'll close it out here, man. Matter of fact, I'm gonna ask you this.
Go for it.
All right, what is your? 'Cause I know there was. What are your thoughts on your boy Jalen Hurts going into this next season? Because I've seen some crazy shit online in y'all fan base. Some of y'all done with the man already. So
Trust me, I cannot stand our fan base. I don't know if you saw me after the Eagles lost to the Giants, and Brunson said we were not going to be one and done. I quote tweeted that, and I was like, "Bro, what are you smoking?" It was just like, "Bro, I can't stand this fan base." But I was not a big Jalen Hurts fan when we got him. First drafted, I wasn't a big fan of him at all. He couldn't throw and all that stuff you can put in there. And then the next season, right? Go to the Super Bowl, MVP caliber year. And then now it's like going into this, I need to see who our offensive coordinator is going to be. I need to see who's going to be. Is DeAndre Swift going to be here? People are saying A.J. Brown might get traded, which is blasphemy. You got Devontae Smith. I need to see the O-line with the whole Jason Kelsey situation. So it's just like with Jalen Hurts, I need to see more. I need to see more from him and who the coordinator is going to be.
man, I can feel that. And shit, if you want to know how I feel about Dak Prescott, um, I still think he's a good quarterback. I just need more from him in the postseason. Like right now, I'm looking at Dak Prescott like he's Tracy McGrady. I think that he'll put up great regular season numbers. I think Dak Prescott. I kid you not. I think Dak Prescott is going to be in the MVP conversation next year again. Just based on bringing Mike McCarthy back, probably adding one or another weapon. I think he'll have a great regular season. I just think everybody is waiting to see what he does when we get into the playoffs, and that's why it's going to be a very, very, very long season. Because at this point, Dak Prescott could throw for 50 touchdowns, and nobody is going to be moved. Nobody's going to be moved. So I think that's why it's going to be a tough season.
And then you have everybody be like, "Oh, look, playoffs,
Right.
playoffs, every
Playoffs,
single time."
playoffs. Shit, most of the fans too. And listen, I don't blame them. I get it. I understand. Right? Because you were listen. Most years, the numbers that Dak Prescott put up this season would have won the MVP. Right? It's very hard to be a top seed, lead the league in passing touchdowns, and topping everything else. And not be MVP. It was a crazy year with the way that Lamar Jackson ended the season. He said, "Better hope Trey Lance look bad." Even if Trey Lance looks good, Jerry Jones is not going to have a $60 million backup. Like
You
I just hope
never
y'all
know that. You never know that, man. You seriously never know that with Jerry Jones. But I just gotta ask you this, man. Did you see any Cowboys Super Bowls?
Yeah, I seen the 3 Dallas Cowboys Super Bowls, and I've seen the Dallas Mavericks NBA title.
Oh, in 2011. Yeah, that's actually my second favorite NBA team was the Mavericks because of Dirk. So it's just like, yeah. And for me, I've only seen the two. I've seen the 2 Eagles Super Bowls.
See, that's not bad though. See,
Actually, 3.
At least you're not.
No, I've seen 3.
Yeah,
I've seen 3. I've seen 3.
You were alive for the Donovan McNabb one.
Yep, 3.
But let me ask you, were you alive for the one in the 80s?
No,
Okay,
my dad went to that. I'm 94.
gotcha.
94.
He said
Nah.
Dak has been here for 9 seasons, 7 playoff appearances. Yeah, this is gonna be year number 9 for Dak Prescott. And let's see,
That
7.
That is absolutely crazy.
Let me see, 2016, 2018, 2021, 2022, 25. 5 actually. He's played in 7 playoff games. and he's been to the playoffs 5 times of the 8 years that he's been in the league. Because he
Yep.
went one and done with a 1 seed in 2016. Beat Russell Wilson in 2018, then lost to the Rams, lost to the 49ers first round in 2021, beat the shit out of Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2022, then lost to the 49ers, and then we got upset by Green Bay this year. So that's the whole rundown. But hey,
Yep.
man, we've been on here for an hour. My kids came over to look at me. So you got any final things you want to say on here, my brother?
Hey, all I can get. It's nice to talk to Cowboys fans who know football. Because trust me, I can't go on Twitter anymore. Next season, I'm not going on Twitter at all, talking to everybody. No, I'm done. But
Same. I would say the same talking to an Eagles fan and know some football. So I feel that.
appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that. But yeah, dude, we should do this every week. Like seriously, I think we should do this every week, especially with the draft coming up. I think
Yeah.
that'll be lit. We'll talk more about that. But yeah, guys, you can find me at Mitch Coxey on YouTube. Just hit 1 million views on my channel. So shout out to every single one of you. Follow me on Twitter, Mitch Coxey, Hardcore Sports Network, Edge of Philly Sports. Yeah, that's where you can find me, y'all.
And hey, man, it's your boy Henny the Moore reporting live from the liquor store. We're on our road to 2,000 subs. Right now we're at 1751. So y'all hit that sub button. Come join the family. We're gonna get drunk in the liquor store off that Cowboys content, and we will see y'all soon, man. Peace, bless, and I'll holler at y'all.